Here about 13 and a half years. He started out in our Western Bureau, and that's where he was when I first got here. I think I've told a lot of people this story because I use it a lot of times, especially when I'm talking to other reporters. Russ has this ability, better than anyone that I've ever seen, to be able to relate to all kinds of different people. You can almost hear it in his voice when he's talking on the phone with someone. He just relates with them so well, and that's what makes him such a great reporter. Whether it's the mountain folk or the hippies in Asheville, he really can talk to anybody, and that's a great quality for a reporter. And that's why I tell a lot of reporters about that. I'm like, you just have to be able to get to somebody on their own level, and here's a great example of it, and how he does his job every day. Russ went from the Western Bureau to our weekend anchor position and was a great leader on the weekend for a long time, was able to help the team there, and really did a great job, and was able to be promoted to the 10 o'clock newscast. But I think Russ would agree with me. I think that his first love is reporting, and that shows every day. And I think all of us can remember a story that Russ has told that maybe made you smile, maybe appalled you, maybe made you laugh. So I think there are lots of stories that I can remember that Russ has done, and obviously he's been recognized by that, not only by those of us that are his peers here, but also with the many awards that he's won, Emmys, Associated Press Awards, and everything, all the accolades that have recognized you for doing such a great job. Some of the stories that I remember, are the Master Rick castration stories out in Waynesville, the preacher that brought politics into the pulpit that really became a national story, Eric Rudolph. You've certainly been a strong political reporter for us, doing a lot of local coverage of politics, as well as the DNC most recently. He's a go-to guy when we have to send somebody out of town to do hurricanes or anything. I've always been able to rely on Russ, and I know that we've all benefited from that, having you as a coworker. You are a true leader in the newsroom. I know that you're going to be missed greatly by everyone in so many different ways, because you're not only a great coworker, you're a good friend to a lot of people. And I think you've seen that in the outpouring of people who have told you that you're going to be missed. So we wish you well, and congratulations on this new position. I did make a couple notes. Oh, one other story I wanted to mention, in terms of the stories that really just touch your heart, and Russ is really good at those stories, as we all know. I remember the one about the lady with cancer who found out she had cancer when she was pregnant, and he kind of followed up with that story. It just really touched their heart. And there's also another story with the camp care, with the kids who go to camp who have cancer, and they kind of get to forget about that. So Russ has always been a great storyteller. I know you will do a great job in Seattle. They don't know how lucky they are yet, but they will soon. So we wanted to give you this book, The Blue Ridge Parkway.
Thank you.
And tell you how much we appreciate all you've done.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
Russ, in the last week, I've had officials from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party who either saw me someplace or called me up, and they said he was tough in the interview, and both parties liked the fact that he was tough and fair. And if you can talk to Republicans and Democrats who you make uncomfortable in the interview, and at the end of it they go, at least he was fair and he did his job the way he's supposed to, that's got to be the highest praise you can get when you're a reporter. And I got it in the last 4 days. So congratulations.
Well, it wouldn't be a true Russ Bowen day if I didn't get on my soapbox for just 2 minutes, if you'll just indulge me. And it comes off of what Jack just said. If you were there on Saturday night for this party, it was an amazing, amazing experience. And some of the people who were there were people who I've done terrible stories on because they behaved terribly, and I held them accountable. They lost their jobs or their positions because of the stories that we exposed. But they were still there for this party. And the reason they were there was because of the way I treated them, with respect and with dignity. I gave them an opportunity to tell their side of the story, and I treated them well. And the only thing I ask of you is to please continue to do this, because as you hold folks accountable in Western North Carolina, It doesn't mean that you have to be rude or angry with them. It means you just have to be a respectable journalist and treat them kindly, because you're talking to them at the lowest point of their life. And if they can show up at my party after I basically exposed them to hundreds of thousands of people, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Number one. Number two, you know how much I love storytelling. And the bottom line is, you're never as good as you can be. And that's the motto that I live with every single day. I study, I watch other people's stuff, I watch other stations, only so that I can be better than I am today. It's something that John does, it's something that Larry does, it's something that some of our photographers do, and I ask you to please, please work hard to carry on the tradition that we've worked so very, very hard to build here at WLOS. When I first got here, we were not the greatest storytelling station. We're now nationally known for what we do. And that took a lot of dedication and hard work on my part and so many of my coworkers' part. And I thank Julie for letting us do that and saying, just do what you do and do it well, and not tearing my scripts apart too much, and just sort of letting Russ tell the stories the way Russ does. And the best way that you can tell a story is to put a part of you in it. And that's just what I did. So anyway, you guys have been amazing to work with. This has been extraordinary 13 years. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in the next 13, but you'll always be a part of my heart. And I couldn't have done this without you, Julie. And I give you full credit. And Jack, thank you for not showing me the door a long time ago. So anyway, thank you guys. Enjoy the day, because it is Russ Bowen Day.